Have you ever wondered why all of your clients or customers or members don't pay you on time? You know, you've done the work, so why aren't they paying you? I bet you didn't get into business thinking that you'd spend a lot of your time and energy chasing people for money rather than being paid on time. And you probably didn't get into charitable administration or sports club management thinking that you'd be playing sort of a banker role for some of your clients. Hi, my name's Dave Birch, and I'm going to show you the same managed ledger system that we use with our clients to improve their cash flow. The advice and system that, if implemented in your business, will generate a constant stream of extra cash for you. And it can be done. This is an actual client of ours that had nearly half of their annual revenue outstanding in debtors. And with a managed ledger system, they were able to unlock nearly $1.2 million of extra cash. So it's in their clients' bank accounts, now it's in their own bank accounts. And just imagine with your own business or charity or sports club, what you'd be able to do if you had all of the money that's owed to you. There's an enormous opportunity cost, which is another way of saying loss, if you don't have that cash in your account able to be put to good use. If you can get it, imagine what you could enjoy. You can have higher business growth, you can employ more team members, you can buy more material and product, and in most cases more cash flow and better cash flow leads to better lifestyles. In some instances, profitable businesses don't have the cash that they can pay out to themselves, and that can be fixed if you get it from your client's account into your own bank account. There's some worthwhile reasons for doing this. There's strugglers and winners in sport and in life. And after talking with hundreds of businesses and being involved with cash flow for years, we've realised that the winners have 5 key things in place. And the strugglers, they might only have 2 or 3, and sometimes none of these key things. The truth is that if you have all of these 5 elements and they're aligned, your cash flow is going to be both speedier and more predictable. And when that happens, it releases you to focus more on growing your business and providing your services, which frankly is where your attention should be. The best way I can illustrate the importance of the alignment concept is with the evolution of the motor racing pit stop. Have a look at this example.
Time to refuel and change tires. Wheelmore himself changes the tires. Only 4 crew members, including the driver, are allowed to work on the car. It's a tense time. Holland stays in his seat, anxious to get away. Let's watch. The tires are changed at last. A crewman polishes the windshield as Holland moves away just 67 seconds after he stopped.
Back in the 1950s, the goal was the same as it is now, to win the race. The teams knew that a quick stop was mission critical. To improve pit speed, racing teams aligned specialist roles, new technology, purpose-built parts, pure speed training. And you saw a lot of that in the second pit stop from 2013. However, no single technological change produces a huge improvement all by itself. But in combination with well-trained people, look at what the results were, from 67 seconds down to 42 seconds. So it's the alignment of the key elements that produces success. Now, I want you to pause for a moment and really let this next point sink in, and it's a big one. And it's almost the exact opposite of what everyone else out there is telling you at the moment. In today's business landscape, we're seeing the pit stop phenomenon play out again, however with cash flow. Businesses are obsessed, completely obsessed, with getting new technology to improve their cash flow, but most have forgotten the importance of those critical elements of people and alignment. There's an obsession with automating emails and reminders to clients. Now just think about that for a moment. You may be emailing clients that, just like yourselves, are bombarded with emails every day and are completely over automated email systems. In reality, every new automated solution or fancy app or plugin that you get brings more overhead, more complexity and more headaches to your business. Do you really want to be that person that's pestering your customers? Or perhaps you'd prefer to provide a better customer service experience. Now, remember how I told you that businesses have winners, the ones who are really smashing their cash flow, and they have 5 key things in place that the stragglers don't. Those 5 things are what we call the 5 P's: policy, process, people, payment options, and priority. And these all need to be in alignment for your cash flow to improve. Now let's get down to discussing these in a little more detail. Policies. Ask yourself for a moment, what are your terms of trade and why do they need to be like that? A great example is folks who get paid on the 20th of the month following. Why? Because everybody else is like that. Well, that's probably not the best reason. Perhaps you should revisit your policies and have a think about 7 days from invoice or 14 days from invoice. With our team calling thousands of overdue payers, one of the regular reasons that they get told they can't pay at that point in time is because everybody else is chasing them at the same time of the month, the 20th of the month. So have a think about your policy, and maybe there's some ways that you can reset that to chase your clients throughout the month rather than just at one point. Processes. There's all sorts of processes associated with cash flow. Everything from when you onboard a new client and you perhaps do a credit check of them. Do you get your terms of trade signed? Do you advise them of their payment options? If they don't pay on time, how do you escalate that and what's the process associated with it? Those things need to be standardized and executed the same way all of the time. So if a client, let's say, doesn't pay on the 15th of the month, which is when their invoice is due, that they would have got a reminder perhaps on the 10th of the month, and they will get a telephone call on the 17th, 2 days after the payment was due. Those processes need to be, wherever possible, written down and followed in a standardised manner. People. How often is it that people say, oh, I've got a really good accounts receivable person, she's an absolute tiger or pit bull? Our experience, and we do this for many, many clients, is that the best accounts receivable person are the exact opposite. If a pit bull is running towards me, I'm going to be running the other direction. If we use that dog analogy, you want your accounts receivable person to be approachable and a problem finder and sort of your slow payer's best friend, however with a task and a motive in mind. So think of maybe a Labrador in terms of attitude rather than the pit bull. Those people are hard to find. When you've got them, resource them well and they'll serve you well. Payment options. I still speak with businesses and clubs that don't accept credit cards, so they just haven't yet got to electronic payment. You must. If you're worried about the costs associated, offer it as an option, but add the costs to the amount that the clients pay so you don't bear the costs yourselves. If you've got online payment options ranging from direct credit to direct debit to automatic payment to credit cards, you'll be more likely to be paid because one of those payment options will suit your payer, your slow payer perhaps. And lastly, priority. So many times our focus is on growing our business and increasing revenue or providing services and products that are better, but there has to be some priority given to getting the invoice paid and into the bank. And it's got to be a daily priority. You can't really leave it 30 days or 60 days or 90 days to follow up. Some clients we see are still using invoice templates and statement reminders that across the bottom have got current 30, 60, 90. And when I see those, I think to myself, well, that's really just an invitation to clients to stretch out your payment terms, which might be 20th of the month following or 14 days from invoice, to actually stretch them out to get into the 90-day column. It's absolute madness. So if you can get all of those 5 Ps, the 5 Ps of better cash flow, review them all and operating in sync, the end result is you'll significantly improve the cash flow of your business or your charity or sports club. Now, if you don't have the cash flow that you need or that you desire, right now let me ask you 2 simple questions. Are you serious about improvement? And are you a DIY person, or do you prefer to use experts? Let's look at that first one first. Are you serious about improvement? And out of the business context, have a think about the last holiday you went on or the last fitness goal that you set yourself. If you're serious about it, you'll open a bank account and start to put a little bit of money away for the holiday, rather than just wishing and hoping it would be nice to visit that far-flung country one day. Wishes will get you nowhere. You need to follow it up with some action. So if you're serious about improvement, I've got some tips in a moment how you can actually get a bit of rubber on the road. And secondly, are you a DIY person, or do you prefer to use experts? And that's largely down to an individual and perhaps sometimes their budget. If you're a DIY person, so you prefer to do the accounts receivable yourself or with someone in your team, just make sure that you resource them appropriately. So that's going to involve you in a good deal of reading, perhaps understanding a little bit of psychology to get the right person in place. There's a lot of things you can do to get up to speed and be very good at accounts receivable. We'll give you some tips on that as well in a moment. Alternatively, if you prefer the sort of the fast track and you want to use an expert, that's a great way to get the exact resource that you need, pay no more for it than you need, and get it deployed and get some quick results, so get the money into your account more quickly. Finally, some extra resources. We've set up a resource page for ESS at www.smartar.com/ESS. First one is It's Your Money, So Don't Play Bank. That's a generic guide that we wrote with 6 fantastic strategies, and perhaps that's a great place to start. Within that, there's a business credit assessment tool that will give you an idea of where you're at now and what you perhaps need to focus on to improve your cash flow. So it's very hard to do everything at once. This guide will help identify where you can start now, whether you're a DIYer or in fact prefer to call in the experts. It's a great place to start. And also in that resource section, we've left a telephone script that our ledger managers use. We train them in it. It's got a little bit of psychology in it, and we believe it's probably the best slow payer telephone script ever written. So a little immodestly, that can be yours as well. Just pop into that website and download it, and I think Peter will have that available on his site as well. And finally, remember that success in everything, any endeavour, is generally 5% strategy and 95% implementation. Knowing what to do is relatively easy. You can just Google and you'll get a million sites that tell you about better cash flow, many of the same tips that we've just discussed today, but rubber on the road and implementation is the thing that counts. So good luck with your cash flow. Reach out to us if we can help in any way. Back to you, Peter.